I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good morning, Tyson Cobb. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
Going very well. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Hey, it's a great pleasure to connect with you. Please do tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
I'm calling all the way from lovely Brisbane in Australia, and it's at night time here whilst it's morning where you are. It's a lovely spring night here in Brisbane.
It's great to hear. It's definitely great to hear that. For once, I'm in the day and the other person is in the night. Hey, well, Tyson, please do tell us which of your talents, definitely the thing that put you out there, is responsible for us connecting.
Well, I guess it would probably have to be my podcast, the Marketing Crunch podcast, which is it's a show for professional service businesses who really want to know the what, the why, and the how for marketing.
Yeah, definitely an amazing podcast. Great content, great content, well delivered as well. I really got into enjoying that. So who did you learn that skill from? That skill of not just having the information and keeping the cards close to your chest, but sharing.
So that skill, I guess I've always been one to perform, be in front of people, whether it be on a stage or on a camera. So I guess taking on the challenge of being just heard was something that I really wanted to try. I've never really tried it before, so I really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of, starting my own audio show. And I was essentially a mad follower of other podcasters in the marketing industry, and I really learnt from them. You know, more specifically, people like Pat Flynn, John Lee Dumas, and other influential podcasters like that. Not just in the marketing industry as well. There's more sort of broader business podcasters out there who I follow, but they're the more specific ones. So I really learnt that a skill and ability on how to produce a podcast from them.
Interesting. So that's the podcast side, right? But I did hear a certain knack to ask the right questions, right? Who did you learn that from?
The acting side of things?
Yeah.
I actually didn't learn that from anyone. That's just something that I've always done and loved doing. When I was younger, did a lot of film and television, a lot of acting, a lot of on-stage performances and that sort of stuff, and theatre sports and whatnot. So thinking on my feet and being able to really do some ad-lib performances was great fun, and I loved doing that as a child, as a teenager, and I guess my family as well. They were always very, they loved, well, from what my mother says, loved having me around because I was always the goose, acting like a fool and just performing and that sort of stuff. So no one really taught me that. It was kind of just something that I'd always had, that flair from a kid, going through school, and sort of taken that into my professional career.
Well done. I think the statistic for podcast dying is 10. I've heard it. I've heard different numbers, right? I've heard 3. I've heard 10 most recently. So you have definitely beat that, right? Congratulations. I do hope you continue podcasting, because I really do believe you're bringing great content. I would like to know, just for your personal note, why will you continue?
To podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, so look, that's probably a number of reasons. One, because I think audio and also video formats are only going to become more in demand when it comes to how people consume content. Being a marketer myself, I'm always researching that and making sure that I'm on top of the current trends. It's a great way to really share my story to the world, and most of all, I just love it. It's fun, and I'll keep doing it for as long as it has that effect on me.
Yeah. I like the, hey, it's just fun.
It's just fun. That's right. You know all about that.
Yeah, it has to be fun. Well, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Oh, good question. Well, I guess it would just have to be just learning about different aspects of different businesses, businesses that I want to help in my career from a marketing angle, but also actually working to enhance my business acumen to really support my marketing background. I guess would be something that I've done consistently over the past 3 years or so, is just consistently learning.
How does it make you feel?
Drained, exhausted? No, it actually makes me feel quite, to put it in a word, ignited.
Yeah.
If that's one way I could describe it. From, ignited from I can do anything in my career side of things. It makes me feel like I can, the sky's the limit. But also, a little bit of stress in there as well, because of the amazing amounts of stress that I actually put on myself personally to achieve what I want to achieve. Yeah. So I'm learning all these new things, and I do it in the hopes that it will help me achieve my personal and professional goals. But sometimes I may even put too much stress on myself. So that's just when I need to reset and focus on what I actually can control.
Yeah. Sounds great. So there, in the marketing side of what you're doing with Business Depot, there's the accounting side, and then there's the type hands-on networking, building relationship side. Which side brings you more energy?
Probably the networking, building more relationship side. I love talking to people about marketing. I could talk to people about marketing for days and days and days and days. I mean, I've been in marketing for, it's actually 10 years this year now.
Congratulations.
And,
so wait, I'll tell you this quickly. So I was talking to someone, it'll be the episode right before you, right? And she was talking about 23 years plus 7 years of dating. She's been married, right? So I said, hey, I learned something. Like I just made 10 years of marriage, right? And it's the point when you stick in the decade. So you get to say the decade, right? It sounds huge, right? Like it's been a decade since I've been doing marketing.
Look, it's a long time. And I was actually at a conference today, and I was thinking about this, because some of the speakers that went up when they were being introduced, they said, oh, this person's got 13 years in marketing. They've got 8 years in marketing, 20 years in marketing. But then I was actually thinking, does that mean anything when it comes to being a professional? You can be 25, 30 years in marketing, but what have you really achieved? And that's what I really wanted to know. I didn't want to know how long they were in marketing for. I wanted to know what they achieved. Yeah. So that's when I actually went ahead and stalked them on LinkedIn. But, when it comes to the professional side of things, I think it's what you've achieved that counts, doesn't it?
I believe so, especially from a place of, if it's a thing you set out to achieve. I think that brings a certain confidence that is necessary for the next step. So do the thing you love and set the goal, achieve it, and then move to the next step, because it connects a lot to what you set out in the beginning, which is important to me. Yeah,
definitely.
So why would you suggest to someone else that's out there, that's listening, that may be a marketer, that may be running their own business, why they should do what you're doing by consistently and continuously learning?
Just because, well, when it comes to marketing, the landscape is moving and changing so fast. There are new technologies, there's new ways of doing marketing, guerrilla marketing, new marketing buzzwords popping up every single day. So I guess it's just making sure that you're keeping up would probably be the number one reason why, if someone's in marketing or they're in a marketing business or marketing for a business, if you keep learning, then you're going to be able to keep up and stay ahead of your competition.
Yeah. Love it. Amazing audience. We are live with Tyson A. Cobb. He is the podcast host of Marketing a Crunch podcast. Do check that out. Tyson, well, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Tyson, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Well, it's not in Caribbean water, I'll tell you that. My earliest childhood memory would probably have to be going to my brother's soccer games. Growing up in a country town in central Queensland here in Australia, and having a pretty sporty family, we were always going to soccer games, and because it wasn't a large town, everyone knew everyone. Mum and dad knew so many people, and everyone knew me and my brothers as it goes. And I just remember sitting in like a camping style fold out chair, watching my older brother Nathan play a soccer game, with mum beside me and dad with a massive block sitting on his shoulders that was a video camera at that time. So I guess that would probably be my earliest memory.
Intriguing. How old do you think you were?
Oh, well, if I think how old my brother was, I probably would have been about 3, maybe around that.
Wow. So why do you think this memory is so clear?
Probably because of the family aspect of it. Family is such an important value to me and always has been.
Interesting.
Those values of going to the field and watch my brother play have now, they've transitioned into going to the folks' house and having a big family barbecue with beers and laughs and games and great memories. So growing up in a big and close family has really made me cherish those moments. So that's probably why that memory is so clear.
Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind? I love the idea that it feels like a marketer's perfect set, if you would, like action, like teak, right? And I'm saying that based on you're sitting, there's a main event, there's the video recording because you'll definitely need that, right? And then there's the networking that's occurring, right? Because there's a source thing that we're pointing to, which is the game, right? And then there's the networking, and then there's the growth that has occurred from the networking, right? And it's fascinating to me that you are that guy that is now producing and creating that same set format, not just for yourself, but for others, where you set the stage, you create the brand, you build the brand, you put in the support systems, the team, and then boom, the networking, right? And then it's like, it's just fascinating. I could go on and on and on.
I love how you took it there. That is fantastic. I'm going to have to remember what you just said, because that is awesome. That is great.
You are welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
You know what? I knew that you were going to ask me this question. And I did actually put some thought to this one because I was interested myself. And believe it or not, I am not embarrassed to say this, that it would have to be Blue by Eiffel 65. And that is in no way that you will be getting me to sing that. But this is probably right around the time that I got my first Discman. And this is the CD that I was pretty much playing the most as a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how he starts it off, though. The words he says. Oh, it's something about this is a story. Is that what he says?
This is about a little man who lives in a blue house.
Yeah. So I love how that connects. Well, it's one of those songs, right? But yeah, most definitely, I love how it connects, right? Because hey, this is a story, right? Like even what you're creating via the marketing arena, it's always a story that needs to be conveyed, and that's pretty intriguing. And Blue was definitely a story, like the video. Wow, right? So that's amazing.
Yes, wasn't that different?
It was the most different Blue
the 90s.
that you could see. Yeah, for definitely. All right, well, my friend, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Tyson?
Ready to go. Fire 'em away.
Boom. Tyson, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not yet, no.
Are you married?
I am. I have a beautiful wife, Mia, and we got married just in April this year.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations. Newlywed.
Thank you.
Yeah, do you have children?
No, not yet. We'll see how the next few years goes.
Do you believe in God?
Look, if you mean by the true definition of God, a supreme being who answers prayers, then I guess not as much as other people.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do, yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I wish I could watch TV that much, but probably not that much, no.
What about screen time? The phone and the computer, is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
It's actually probably 10 to 12 hours a day for all.
Okay. Tyson, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook. The name of it is called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. The idea is you answer these questions and you get connected to your mission, right? Or you unveil your mission, if you would, your own unique real statement. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Tyson, what would you say that is?
I would probably say try not to sweat the little things because it'll only cause high blood pressure.
Well, there we go.
And it's true.
Tyson, hey, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
For the amazing audience, I guess just thanks for listening. I'm sure there's many great conversations that have happened on this podcast, much of which you could probably learn a thing or two from. So I guess just thank you.
You are welcome. Tyson Cobb, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.